So I will share my screen. I might not really have time to like go back. Okay. So please, who can remind us of where we stopped in our last class? Please, I hope you can hear me. Can remind us of where we stopped in our last class. Was it alliance? Anybody?
All right, so I think we stopped there at the alliance part. Yes, we stopped there.
Okay. All right now, there's no problems. So I think today we're going to be starting from the joint function. That's where we'll be starting from today.
I'm sorry, Dominic, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you
Okay,
hear what I said?
yes, you said you are going to join. We didn't really do much last week. We looked at the select, then the select from, then move to alliance. So are going straight to join?
Yes, we're starting from joints today.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So uh okay. Let me see. I'm trying to see how to make this simple enough and then cover as much as possible. You know, I have slides I would have liked to share, but let's go on. All right, so the joint keyword actually is used in SQL statement, okay, to query data from two or more tables. So imagine you're trying to create a relationship between certain columns or certain tables, all right? So that's what you're now trying to do. So those tables are actually like, you can often relate them with each other with, with where you have the primary key and the foreign key, okay? You're trying to use each of the primary keys of the tables to like join them together. Um, I think what I'll do today is I'm actually going to share my script with each and every one of you because I don't have so much time and I want to make this class fast enough. So I will share a script I already wrote with you guys. That is after this class, but I'll use the script here to explain. So try to follow me as much as you can. So, yes. So this is it now. So this is the joint. This is the joint. So I think I've written the description of the commands I am writing so that when I share the scripts to you and you put it in your SQL, you can actually like understand what I'm writing and you can make use of it when you are using your own database or you're working with your own database. So as you can see now, we're starting with the left joint. We're starting with the left joint, which is actually to return all the rows from the left table. Okay, so you picture this that you have a table, all right? You have a table, and then you have a table has um that has columns, okay? Let's just say a table named orders, okay? Just like what you have on your screen right now. So a table named orders. So in that table, you have inside the rows different stuffs inside, okay? And you have different columns inside the order table. All right. And then now this table that you have here, you now want to left join it with another table. Now, in this sense, now we're looking at what are the things that we have in the other table that is not in the customer table. That's what we are trying to do now. So we want to now merge these two tables together. So we have some information that are in the customer table and are not in the other table. Now, let me see how I can put this in typical example. In the other table, you have something like, okay, you have biscuit, you have Coca-Cola, you have Fanta, you have Sprite. And in the customers table, you also have biscuit, Sprite, Coca-Cola, Fanta. You understand? Now, both of them have these features similar together. But now in the customer table, you have the customer's name. Okay, you have the names of the customers. In the order table, you have the order ID. Okay, possibly you have the receipt. But now you look at it that in the customer table, you don't have the order ID. All right, you don't have the receipt number of the order, but you have them in the customer table. Now, you want to merge these two tables together, but you don't want to merge the entire table, like bringing the whole order table into the customer table. You just want to bring selected columns from the order table to merge them with the customer table. That's where you now do the left join. So the left join happens that the order table is on the left, or the other table, not necessarily that it is on the left, because you can have it before or you can have it after. But when you say left join, you are trying to say whatever is left on the other table that is not in the customer table, add it to the customer table. Okay? So whatever is left in the other table that is not in the customer's table, add it all what to the other table. I don't know if you are getting what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm just doing this because I'm trying to be fast. Okay, but I know that once I send the script to you and then you run the code, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to see what I'm actually trying to show you. Okay, so as I was trying to say, so I said run what is on the left. Okay, the things that are left. So as you can see now, select from customers table, left join it to the orders table. So now, in this scenario now, what I'm saying is look at the customers table, and then anything that is left in the order in the customers table, join it to what? The orders table. So now in the customers table, we have the customer's name, which is not in the orders table. So that is the column is going to pick and then join it to what? The orders table. So when you are now viewing the order table, what you are now going to see is order ID. You see the customer's name reflecting with the order ID. You'll see the order they made, the receipt number, the order they made, maybe the Coca-Cola, the Sprite, and whatever, coming from the customer's table because it was not there. So you are now merging these two together. So instead of you having a confused table that you have repeated columns, you are having a simpler column inside one. Okay, you're just filtering what is not in the other column and bringing it to this other column. So I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so it's the same thing that now happens to right join. So you just do the reverse of the case. All right, then we will now move to the multiple join. So the multiple join is like doing both things inside one. So as you can see here, you have select from order then left join them to the customer. And then on that now, this is what you're supposed to produce. The customer ID equals the order ID. Now, what you're seeing on here is customer. In customer, the customer ID is what? The primary key. So you are definitely identifying the primary key in this case. And then equals to what? The orders. The orders is what? The customer ID is the primary key in customer's table. All right. And then in the order table, it becomes what? A foreign key. So now you see where the primary key and the foreign key comes to play a role, how important it is. It helps you to actually join tables together. Okay, the connection, the relationship between these tables, it makes it easier for you to join them together. So whatever you're doing now, the relationship that links both of them to make that filtering of you, filtering the left join or the right join of the table together. What makes it easier is the relationship between the primary key and the foreign key. So just like I told you in the first class, always take note of this. I told you in the process of class that you're going to see how important the primary key and the foreign key is when using a database. So now you're starting to see the functionality of that part in it. So you can see now, select from order table, left join the customers. So on it, this is it. On it is what is going to produce the customer ID will be equal to the customer ID. And then from there now, from that table that you've created, right, join shippers. So now that's another table you're now adding. So now, just to be clear, where is this addition going to? You have to know where it's coming from. Now, you can see select from here. I hope you can see my mouse. So it says select from. So whatever they are selecting is from the orders table, and then you are left joining it to what? The customers table. So the customers table is what you want to make what? A new table. You want to form a new table out of the customers table by left joining the things that are on the orders table that are not in the customers table. That's what you're trying to do. And then from there, this is the new one that you're forming, which is on this is the relationship. Note it very well. Then after creating this new customer table, you are now saying right join another table. We are right joining another table called what? Shippers. In the shippers, what do you have? You have um shippers ID as the primary key, and then the order table. Why are you using the order table instead of the customer? Because where you got your initial um joining to the customers table that you are referring to as the linkage is from where? The order table. So try your possible best not to get confused on where you are getting your joint, where you are filtering your information from or your data from, and where you are joining it to, and when you want to proceed to join another thing to that. Okay? So I hope you are following me. Then the next thing we're moving on to is unions. Okay, as you can see, as I've written there, union is actually used to combine results set of two or more select statements. Okay, so we are trying to actually the union operation that you are actually doing there is just to combine the results you have. Okay, the result set of two or more select statement that you have selected. So it's as simple as that. So you just have to notice that each of the select statement within the union must always have what? A number of columns. Okay, so now you cannot select one particular one. There have to be certain columns you want to select. So as you can see now, we have that select first name, select last name. From where? So just like I told you before, SQL is is coding in English. You are coding is like speaking a layman's term. So that's what you're trying to do. So coding SQL is just simple English. So now you're selecting, okay, I want to select the first name and the last name. From where? You have different tables, you have different columns, you have different, you have different tables actually, or you have different database. So where do you want to select this thing from? You have to now state it clear from employees table. That's where you're selecting from. Now, you now want to combine the result of this selection, the first name and the last name. That's just the two things you need. Possibly the employee table has the salary, it has the job description or the job position, but you don't need all those information. You just need two particular columns out of that table. And you now want to merge it with another one, which is now the union, which you're now saying, select now first name and last name from students. And that's just what you want. Okay. So you are selecting first name, last name from employees, and then union, you now unite it, okay, with another table, another selection from another table. So that's you now see where we now come about the combined result set of two or more select statements. Okay. So apart from that, I also gave other examples below. So the ones I skip, as you can see, this is like the heading. This is the heading of whatever statement or operation that I'm doing or I'm working with. So this is it. So I specified it and then give gap and then clarify on each of the examples I'm giving you so you could easily follow, even when I'm not there to tutor you. So this is another example that we have here. So I won't like to go so in depth into it, but I'm just giving you an overview of this operations or statements or commands using SQL. I'm still going to share one last file, one last material for you to read up and understand better. Okay, because I think this class is going to be our last. So I would like each and every one of you to follow up, with time. And then maybe later on, if you have any question you want to ask, you can always reach out to me to ask your questions. So moving on, so you can see now, like this last example that I have here, I now said select first name, last name, point. Okay, then the VIP level. Now that VIP level that you are seeing there, is the point I am selecting. Okay, the VIP level is not in the table. Okay, I just want to clarify that. The VIP level that is there is not in the table, but it is what I want to call what the part I am selecting. So I now said from the customers table, select first name, last name, and point. Now, this is application of different operations of different statements. So we have the select, we have the from, and we have union, we have where. So now you can see I now said select this from the customers table. In the customers table, where the point, filtering the point now, I want to filter a point where the point is greater than or equals to 2000. So now it now means that any first name, any last name that has points over 2000, like from 2000 and above, they will be recorded as what? VIP level. So now, and I also said union it with first name, last name points, and then call those people regular, still from the same customer table, where the point is what? Less than 2000. And so now, if you are to run this code now, you see that what we have here is going to be a table that determines now. So already you have this database. Okay, you have this data already, or this table. you have the customers table already that was prepared. And then in the course of it, they all recorded point. Maybe the point was allocated in terms of maybe achievement of who did the highest job or who did this, who did that. And then those points were allocated. Some people had 1,000 points, some people had 2,000 points, some people had 3,000, 5,000, etc. Some people had less, 500, 200, and the rest. So now we now want to differentiate these people now. Okay. So imagine your employer comes and tells you, oh, okay, we have a competition. I don't know who is winning. I don't know I know who are the people that are topping the scores and who are the people that are less or below the range. So, but this is the range I want. The range is 2,000 points. Anybody that scored up to 2,000 points and above, they're supposed to be in a different level. And I want them to be in the VIP level. Okay. Then anybody that scores 2,000 and less, I want the person to be in the regular level. So this is a simple code you write to create that differentiation, create that kind of table out of what is already existing. So you just determine the first name, last name, and then the point, and then you score them as a new table as like, yeah, a new column, not a new table, sorry, a new column as the VIP level. And then it comes out that where you have 2,000 points and above, all right, is going to be, those people will now be on the VIP level. And then 2,000 points below is where you now have the people that will be on the regular level. So you can now easily determine the people that have scored above and people that have scored below. Okay, so you can just easily determine that, and then you move on to the next thing that your employer might ask you to do. All right. So I hope you guys are following me. I hope you guys are following me. Sorry that I have to be on speed today. So sorry I have to be on speed today. Okay. But I'll definitely I'll share my scripts with you so you could understand, and then I'll also share my my material with you, which will be detailed with explanation. So you definitely get exactly what I'm trying to show you. Okay. I think before I come down to all this, okay. Okay. So before I go up, let's come to updating tables. All right. Now, here now. So let's say you've already created a table, you want to update it. Okay. So creating a table is not like your final move, it's not the final thing you've done. That okay, you've created a table, that means it cannot be edited, you cannot change something, you can't fix something that maybe there was a mistake, or you need to add additional details or data to the table or the rows. So this is a code where you write to update your rows. So as you can see, I wrote updating tables, edit your rows. So all you just need to do is use the operation update. Now, update, what do you want to update? Mention the name of the table, which is a customer's table. That's what you're updating. Now, what exactly are you trying to update? You now say set last name. If it's first name you want to update, you go ahead and you set what? The first name equal to what? Always remember, when you are using varchar, which is alphabet, you put it in what? You have your parentheses here. You open and close parentheses. So this is using the data type varchar. Don't forget, note it very well when you're writing your code. But when you're using the int, which is the integer, which is your numeric database, or sorry, data type, you can write it normally and you don't have any issue with that. So now, you now say set the last name equals to what? This, where the customer ID is this. Okay, so let's just say the last name was not Audu. The last name was Anson. But you now want to update it. Oh, you made a mistake. This place is not Anson that is here, it's actually Aldo. I want to change the name. So this is where you are setting it now. And the process of you setting it, there might be different other Ansons that are already on that same table. It might not be the only person. So that's where you now have to now specifically filter it to where the customer ID is what? 8. So that when the update is coming, it will have to go and change all the Anson's name that you've written, okay, inside the table to Aldo. So you have to now specify where, which is what the customer ID, use the customer ID or use the primary key of that table to determine where exactly you want to. So here now the customer ID is like the primary key. So now that's the unique key of that table, as you can see, which is 8. So number 8, which is this Aldo's name that we're talking about, that we're updating. Remember, the name is Anson, and we're updating it towards Aldo. So that's not the only Anson we have. And this Anson here is possibly we say we have 3 other persons named Anson also on that same customer's table. So the difference is that we use the customer ID, which is the unique code, to differentiate them. The one I want to update is number 8, customer ID number 8. Okay, you're not updating number 16, you're not updating number 17, you're updating number 8. That's what you're doing. All right, so you use the where clause and then you update it. So you just see that quickly as you do that, it will just straight to the point, get you to number 8 and update the answer to the Aldo. All right. Next thing is, let's say you want to add points, which is the second example that we have here. You want to add points, all right? Like we were talking about the points where you have the VIP, the regular. You want to add points to the customers. So let's say we have this like how Jumia does their promotion. Okay, when you buy something, or if you've gone to Spa, the mall, okay, they do give you points when you buy things. So the more you buy, they give you, the add points to you, and then you get to redeem those points. Now this is how it works. So imagine the customer comes now, buy something, and you want to add points to the person. You will not have to go and start scrolling through. This person, okay, this person's name is this. How do I? You now have to go and start searching ton of data, or ton of the data to actually add points to one particular person that you want to add the points to. You just have to do what? Filter the person's customer ID, or filter it through by using the primary key, and then you fix the point where you need to fix it and it appears. So as you can see here, update customers table, you set the points to be points, the current point that is there, plus 100, the point you want to add. So maybe you want to add 50 points, that will be plus 50. You want to subtract points, it will be minus 50 or minus 100, minus 10, minus 20. You want to add as much as you want to add to that particular customer. Then you now use the unique ID, which is the customer ID, which is the primary key also, to identify the specific customer you are doing that to. Okay, so that's what happens here. Then we move to delete. So this is how you delete a row. So imagine you don't need a row, a particular row. Maybe the customer has been inactive for a very long time, and it doesn't look like somebody that's going to be coming back again. You've lost the customer, and then your boss is like, well, let's filter and delete the customers from last year that we know that have not visited us, we have not shopped with us in the last 6 months. So let's delete them out of the database, or delete them out of the database. We don't need them anymore. There's no need for them being there. So that's where you're now coming to what? Using the delete function. So you just say delete from customers table. Always know that whatever you're doing, whether you are selecting from somewhere. Whatever you're doing, you are deleting from somewhere. So always remember that whatever you're doing, you are doing it from somewhere. So you have to state the table you are doing that from. So delete from the customers table where the customer's ID is number 9. Okay. So you're using the primary key of that table to do your delete, and it will delete the entire row for that particular customer and it's gone. So imagine you now want to drop or you want to delete the entire table. So this is where you now apply. So you can see here, the drop table is another one of saying delete this particular table. So you don't just want to delete just one customer. You want to delete, okay, you don't want to delete just one employee. Or you don't want to delete, let's say, customer that we've been using. You don't want to delete just one customer. You just want to delete the entire table. It has no use anymore. Or maybe due to company privacy and all that, and then your boss comes in and like, okay, I don't want us to have access to this information, neither do I want this information to be exposed to any other external bodies or third parties. I want you to delete this table that you've created. We've used it, we use the information we need, we're not selling it out, but I want this table to be deleted right now. The entire table. Okay, entire table of different multiple customers. So we can't give out the information and we need to protect their interest. We delete it. So that's where you now use the function drop table employees, drop table customers, drop table market or marketing. Okay, that's where you're now dropping the table and then it ends up formatting the whole table. You delete the entire table and it's gone, it's wiped out. Then imagine now you also want to drop the entire database. So all the tables you've created, not just one particular table. Okay. All the tables that you have created, you want to drop all of them. You want to delete it. It has to be gone. That's the instruction. Okay. So you're not just deleting one particular table. You have to clear every single thing that you have done because the information is not needed anymore. What do you do? That's when you do what? You drop the database. So dropping the database, the entire database that you have ever worked on. That particular database, not all of them or not all the databases that you've created, just that particular, that's why you have to state it. Drop database, real pass model, and it will format or delete the entire real pass model database for you. And it's gone in a twinkle of an eye. And everything will be the what is gone. Okay, so I hope we are all following, despite the fact that I feel like I'm fast, but just so that we could catch up. That's why I had to see how to devise a means for each and every one of us to like follow. So the next one we have is truncate. So next one we have truncate. So let's just say if we only want to delete the data inside the table and not the table itself, okay, you want to delete that. You want to delete, let's say you've created a table, okay, with different columns, with their column names, different rows, with their information and data inside of it. But now, your boss comes in and asks you, all the information we have inside this table, I want it gone. Let's start afresh. Let's do something else. But I don't want you to like destroy the table. The table has a structure, has a format. So let's just say first name, last name. Okay. You want to repeat same action, but with new information inside of it or new data inside of it. That's when you now apply the truncate table. That's when you do that application. So you can now truncate table, like all you have here is other details, but you can say truncate table, customers. Okay, so all the columns that were formed already in the customers table will remain, but all the customers details, information, data, and everything that is there will be gone. So you are actually doing what? Removing the data, deleting the data from a table, but not deleting the table itself. Okay, so The next one we have here is the alter. All right. So this alter statement is actually used to add, to delete, or to modify a column actually, okay, in an existing table. So you want to delete anything, you want to add, you want to modify, okay? That's when you now alter something inside of a particular table that is already in existence, not a new one. So you can see here, alter table invoices, and the invoices, what do you want to do? And what do you want to alter? I want to add minor to what? This is varchar, which is the data type 200. So you're adding a column now. Okay, so the table here is invoice table. And what are you doing? I am adding the minor column to that table. That's just what I'm doing. And then in the minor table, what exactly am I actually stating? What data type is the minor table going to be reading? What data type do I want it to understand? Letters, varchar, datas, char, datas, sorry, letters, alphabet. Okay, so that's what you're doing here. Now, how many characters do I want to see in that particular column? In each of the rows, how many characters do I want to see? 200 characters, that's just what I want it to carry. Anything more than 200 characters, it will not enter. So imagine he's talking about names. Okay, let's say product names. And those product names are very long. Or let's say you're working with a pharmacy, okay, a pharmaceutical company. And then you have this long um um this long medication, long name of medication, okay, or a particular drugs. All right. So and it's long, more than 200 characters, it will enter inside the minor column. It will not. But if it's within the range of 200 characters, it will enter in that column. That's the same thing now. So we move to the next one, which is the same thing we are using the alter table for. So alter the table, which table? Invoice table. What do you want to do? I want to drop the due date. You are deleting that column. So you can remember now when we were talking about the drop table here. That's what you're doing. So this one, you're dropping just a column inside a table. You're not dropping the entire table. You're not dropping the entire information or data inside the table, but you're dropping a particular column. That's where you now use the alter and drop. And then you want to rename a column. Okay, so you now have alter table invoice. The table is what? Invoice. Rename column number to phone. That's exactly what you're doing here. Just trying to rename it. So instead of using alias, you can use alter table. And inside the table, this is the column you want to change the name to. So that's as simple as ABC. So I hope we are all following. 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 Oh, okay, okay. Um, okay. I'm trying to see before I come down here. But in simple terms, all right? In simple terms, creating a view. Creating a view is you creating a new table from the database table. That's just as simple as that. So you already have um, you already have employee table that you've created already, is existing. But you now say, in this employees table, I want to create a new view. Like I want to create a new table that looks exactly like this particular table. All right. So that's when you now use the operation create view. All right. So you now have the create view job vacancy. And then in the create view job vacancy, what you want to create it as, what is the example you want it to copy? So it's like saying you want to do a photocopy. Yes. Uh-huh. You want to do a photocopy of a particular table. That's what you want to do. So that's where you have used the create view command operation. So create view job vacancy as what? As select job title from employee. So the table is what? Employee. How do I want it to look like? The job vacancy, the job titles. That's what I want. That's just the new table I want to create for job vacancy. I just want to copy a particular table, the employee table. And what specifically do I want to copy now? It's the job titles. So instead of me spending time to write all the titles that are in this company, we have a job vacancy or we want to advertise for job vacancy, and there are spaces um in these job titles, all these job titles, there are spaces there. And we need to fill people in, but we want to advertise. How do we do that as quick as possible? That is it. We create a new table, job vacancy, we name it job vacancy, and then we select the column where we want to um, extract the sample from, which is the job title from where? The employees table. And boom, you got it, and you can use it for your job vacancies as quick as possible. So the next script we are going to be going into is the order by. Yeah, so those are the next functions we're going to be going into. So we have now the order by. The order by here, you use it actually to sort results, okay, by specific columns. I hope that's like simple to grab, to understand. Okay, so you use that to. So you have here now, you select from the customers, then you order it by the first name. So let's just say, how do I put it? How do I put it? How do I put it? How do I put this? For example, um, 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 ah, the example I have in my head is as I just skipped. Okay, so let's keep go now. So you have select from customers, then you order it by first name. So you have in the customers table already, but you want to filter that customers table. In fact, you want to rearrange it. Yes, you want to rearrange it in a particular format. Possibly the customers table started with the customer ID, which you have 001, 002, 003, 004, 005, yes, etc., etc. But now you don't want to follow that part. Maybe it's a little difficult. They are not getting the information, they are not understanding it. You now want to order it by the first names. Okay, so that's when you now change the arrangement. So now when anybody looks at that column or that table now, what the person is going to be seeing is first names, not the customer ID first. So what they'll be seeing first, immediately a glance through that table, is the first name, followed by every other column. So you're going to be how you have the first name, the last name, possibly the customer ID, the phone number, etc., etc., etc. But now we're starting with the first names. Now the next example here is you want to start with a particular first name. That's what you are doing here. You want to start with a particular first name. Okay. We're starting with a particular first name. All right. So you can also order with by city. So let's say USA, sorry, New York City, etc., etc., etc. So you can see you're just trying to order it. You're trying to sort it by particular. You're trying to sort your data by particular using a specific column to sort your data. That's just what happens in that point. Then which other one do I want to go into now? I think let me go into group by first before I come to others. So we have group by. So you have to know the difference between group by and order by. But just as the name implies, group by, you're grouping a particular thing by. You're ordering a particular thing by a specific thing. The other one is you're grouping them by something. So it's just as simple as that. But I'll say, so the group by statement actually used in conjunction with aggregate functions, okay, to actually group the result you want by one or more columns. Now, the aggregate functions are what you find here: your count, your sum, your maximum, your minimum. All right. So the aggregate functions, they actually return a single value. They don't have multiple values. So you should note that. So let's say you want to count them. You are counting how many customers are here. It's going to return a singular. Oh, we have 1,000 customers recorded in this database or in this table. Just one line. Not that you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So it just counted it, all of them for you. Oh, sum the points of the customers. What's the maximum points customers have, or which customer has the highest points? Okay. So these are your aggregate functions, your count, your sum, your maximum. So they actually calculate the values in your column. They actually calculate the values in your columns. And then so you have the average. Okay, these are like, I'm mentioning the aggregate functions now. So you can just note them down in your book. Okay. But I think I included them in the slides. So I think when I send the slides, you might see them there. But these are your aggregate functions where you have the average, you have the count, you have the first, you have the last, you have the maximum, the minimum, the sum. Yeah, basically, etc. So your average is actually returning the average value of what you're looking for in a particular column. Okay. And your count actually returns the number of rows you have. So imagine you want to count how many rows you have, how many customers you have. That's how you count them. Then the first, as I stated, the first actually returns the first value. Okay. So it returns the first value of your table. So whatever is the first value of your table, that's what it returns. So if you have in first name, the first name, you have Basi, the first name. So you now say um, select first from first name. So select first from the column, which is first name, from the table customers. So at that point, you have Basi at the top. So you just select Basi alone and give to you. So that's the first name, the first value of that table. The last, the same thing, the last name in first name, select it for you. You get, then your maximum returns the largest value you have there, your minimum smallest value, your sum returns the total sum, whatever you're calculating, or your columns, your values. So I guess it's like simple enough for you to understand and follow. Then yes, group by, okay. So I think I was trying, yes, I was trying to explain group by. And I now said that the group by functions with the aggregate functions, okay, when you're grouping by something. So now you have here, you select count from customers, then you select the sum from customers, and then you select the maximums from customers. So this is what you are grouping them by, okay? This is what you are trying to do what? Group them by. So this is not the end of it. You move on to this. Select last name, count them from what? The employee, and then group everything by what? The last name from the employee. So you're starting from counting the rows of the customers. How many customers do we have? That's the first thing you are doing. So note this, and this is an example I'm giving you. Okay, when you see a typical situation where you need to apply this, you understand. Okay, so now you have select count from the customers table. Now, still in the customers table, I want to also, we have point. So select the sum of all the points from the customers table. And then still then select the maximum points. Okay, still from where? The customers table. And then select the last name and then count it. Okay, you're selecting the last name and then you're counting it from where? The employee. That's another table. So don't forget, you are trying to group them together. So it's just like you picking from here, picking from here, picking from here, and then trying to tie it together. Not like you have a broom where you have different broomsticks inside. You bring them all together, use a rope to tie them all together. So you are grouping it by a rope. I think that should even give a very simple example. So you pick from here, pick from here, pick from here, making it a bunch. Yes. So you now group it by the rope you tie them together. So that's what you're grouping it by. So that's what you now have here. You group it by what? The last name. So it will now display all the last names. Okay. You display all the last names and then give you the details of the maximum point, giving you also details of the sum and giving you the count of the customers. Okay. So it's displaying the last name. So the last name is what you are using to determine all the things you have selected. So I think in simple terms, that should like make sense to you. The last name is what you move to the next. I won't actually like to go into this because this will just make everybody just very confused. So let's leave that. Okay, let's leave that. Then I should explain this wildcard. Explain this wildcard. Okay. So I'm trying to see how to give a very simple explanation of wildcard. Okay, I think I'll have to start with this example. I'll start with an example. So let's say you are now trying to select, okay? You're trying to select persons living in a particular city, okay? That uh, um, you're trying to select people who live in a particular city, okay? And they start they start with S, okay? Their first names start with S. Okay, so now in this scenario now, the example I'm using, we are trying to select customers that their first name starts with S. Possibly you are trying to search. Uh, you're trying to search. You're trying to search. You're trying to search. You're trying to search for persons that you are told a particular name. Okay, you are told a particular name, and then he said, we know that there's a customer's name that I don't really know the customer, or I don't really know the customer's full name, but I know that the customer's name has S inside. I know that there's a S inside the person's name, but I just don't know. I can't remember whether it's uh, uh, um, I don't know whether it is Stanley. I don't know. I just shall know this S in the person's name. There's this customer that has been buying things from us, but I don't know. That description now, okay, okay, that description now is where you can now use the while card. So you say select from customers where the first name is like it's like you are trying to tell SQL. Me, self, I don't know. I just don't know. But I know that there's a S in the name. I know there's S. I remember that yes, that person's name has S. But just give me first name with S. That's just what I want. Maybe if I see the display of the names with S, I think I can figure it out, you know. So this is you trying to wrap your head with the code you're writing. I can't remember, you know. That's what you're doing now. So you're selecting from customers where the first name is like. So that's why you're using the operation or the code like, because you are not sure. You're not sure. So it's like S. There's S in the name. It's like there's S in the name. I'm just not sure. Okay. I'm just not sure. But I feel like there's S in that name. I feel like there's S in that name. So, but just check it for me, That's what happens in this scenario. That's why you use the wildcat. So you don't know, you don't have concrete information, concrete detail of what you're looking for, but you have a clue of what exactly you're looking for. So now you can see here, this is birth date. Okay, so select from customers where birth date is like 1985, February, yeah, February 1985. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's where you are using this percentage sign attached to it. Okay. So if you are not using the dash, you're using the percentage sign. So in this scenario, we can still use the percentage sign with this to still find it. Okay. So this percentage is, I know it is February, but I don't know. I know it is 1985 February, but I don't know the particular date of this. I know ahead. So this percentage is showing you that there's something in front I'm still looking for. This is not what I'm looking for, but there's something in front I'm still looking for. Okay. Now this second one is, I know it is 1985, but I don't know which month was it, which date was it. How the percentage comes in. Now, if the percentage comes in front, you're looking for something in front before this. Okay. So if you have the percentage in front of the 1985, you are looking for, let's say, in this scenario now, you don't have 1985, you have 02. So you can have the percentage in front where you have where the birth date is percentage in front, 02, and then another percentage behind. So you're trying to say, I know there's something in front too. It's February. I know it is sharp February, but I don't know the year. I don't know the date. But I'm looking for a customer that was born on this, that has this birth date. I am looking for a customer that has. So just filter it and give me people that were born in February. I think I'll figure it out. Okay. So that's what is going on here. Okay. So I think this one at this point, yes, it ends with this. Okay. Where the first name ends with S. So that's why you have the dash here. So in this scenario now, you will have the percentage in front. Okay. So, and also you can also count these dashes that you're putting here. So let's say you are a little specific about the what you are searching for. I know that it's a 5 letter word. I know that person's name is a 5. I know the ends with SO, but it's a 5 letter word, but I cannot remember exactly the name of this person. Okay. Let me put 5 dashes and then S at the end. So you can see you are just giving pointers to something you are looking for that you are not sure of. That's just what you're trying to do. Okay. That's just what you're trying to do. And SQL will help filter, narrow down the information to what you are looking for. Okay. So narrow it down to what you're looking for and help you figure out the exact thing you are actually looking for in your database or in your table. All right. I think I saw a question. Okay. Esteem was asking, I want to ask for the point, can you write as instead of VIP in quote? And also to update multiple criteria, what is the necessary keyword? Okay. In the point of the point, remember you cannot use as if it is not in existence already. You can alias something if it is already in existence. Now, that VIP level that you are creating is not in existence, it's not in the table already. You don't have it. It was not already done or created before now. So you cannot use as in place of it. So that's why you have to state it out as it's a new column that you are creating. So it wasn't existent, it wasn't there, but you just want whatever you are doing now should come with this. That's why you cannot use as. Okay. Then he now said also to update multiple criteria, what is the necessary keyword? Well, I'll say if you are updating it, if you want to update multiple things, okay, multiple data, it is better you update it individually so you don't make mistake. Okay. Now, maybe where it will function with the multiple one, if I can get you right, where it will function with the multiple one is maybe you want to add like the point where you had. You want to add those points to every other person. That's when you now use your where clause to specify where the point is above 2000 or 2000 and above or greater than 2000 and above. Add 100 points to all of them. So I hope you get. So you have to note the multiple things you want to add. Is it something that can go to all of them, or is something that I need to sit down and update it one after the other? Because if you want to say now we have names, you want to update the first names or the last names, and then the last names you want to update. You have the Anson, you have and you want to update the Anson to Aldo. Okay, you will not just update all the Ansons because all the Ansons cannot be bearing Aldo. But maybe two Ansons are actually a mistake and they actually bear Aldo, and you want to update both of them. That's where you still use what? The where clause, where you now go back to use what? The primary key, where the primary key is number 8, comma, what? Number 9. So these are the two customer IDs I want to update as Aldo. Like last names, but these are the two of them I want to update. So your primary key comes in function, your where clause comes in function, your select table comes in function for you to update your the table you want to update or the data you want to update. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, X team.